All right, let's dive in. Alphabet, they just released their Q4 2024 earnings report. And wow, you guys sent it over to us to kind of break it all down.
Yeah, tons of stuff.
We've got press releases, analyst chatter,
Oh, yeah.
the whole shebang. So get ready because we're going to unpack what these numbers really mean, especially for you.
Yeah, for you, the listener, because sometimes, the most interesting stories, they're kind of hidden in plain sight.
Ooh, I like that.
And this time, it's in a financial statement.
Okay. So first up, paint the big picture for us.
Sure.
What's the headline? What's the big takeaway here?
I'd say the big news is Alphabet is still on a roll,
Okay.
showing some serious growth.
Oh, right.
Their revenue is up 12% compared to last year, hitting a whopping $96.5 billion this quarter.
Whoa. Now, that's a lot of money. Like, it's hard to even fathom.
To put that in perspective, that's bigger than the entire GDP of some countries.
Oh, wow. Yeah, like Iceland or something.
Yeah, exactly, like Iceland. So it really makes you realize the scale of Alphabet's impact, right?
Right.
They're touching so many aspects of our lives.
Okay, so where is all this growth coming from? I mean, is it still good old Google search?
Well, Google Search is definitely still a major player. There's no doubt about that.
Okay.
Their Google Services revenue, which includes search and YouTube ads, saw a solid 10% increase.
Got it.
But what I think is really fascinating is how they're weaving artificial intelligence into their core products,
Yeah, I'm curious about that. I mean, they did mention things like AI overviews and circle to search in their report. So what is the deal with those?
So think of AI overviews like those featured snippets you see at the top of Google search result, but on steroids. So instead of just pulling a quote from a website, it uses AI to analyze information from multiple sources.
Oh, wow.
And gives you a concise summary, like a little mini research paper almost.
Oh, okay. So it's basically like having a research assistant. Like right there.
Yeah, exactly. Right at your fingertips.
At your fingertips. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So then what about this circle to search? I mean, sounds almost too good to be true.
It is pretty slick.
Okay.
So picture this. You're, browsing a website and you see, I don't know, a pair of shoes that you really like.
Okay.
With circle to search, you just draw a circle around the image on your phone screen and boom. Google's AI identifies the product, pulls up search results, reviews, maybe even where to buy them.
So instead of trying to describe it in the search bar?
Exactly, you just circle it.
You just circle it? That's insane. That could be a game changer.
It really could, especially for online shopping. It makes it so much easier.
Wow. Okay, so they're really making search even more intuitive and integrated into our lives.
Exactly. It's all about making those everyday tasks smoother.
Okay.
And you know what? All these AI advancements, they're not just cool features.
Right.
They're actually driving profits for Alphabet.
Okay, see, now that's what I like to hear.
Right.
That's the bottom line, right? So let's shift gears for a second and talk about Google Cloud.
Sure.
What's the story there?
So Google Cloud is another area where Alphabet is seeing some seriously impressive results, with revenues surging by a significant 30% this quarter.
Okay, wait, 30%. Now that definitely caught my attention.
It's a big jump.
But I thought Google Cloud was just about, renting out server space.
Well, it used to be, but Google Cloud has grown way beyond just basic server space now.
Okay.
It's now this whole suite of products and services catering to businesses of all sizes.
So what's driving this kind of growth then?
The really interesting part is the growth they're seeing in core GCP products, AI infrastructure, and generative AI solutions.
You know what, to be totally honest?
What?
I'm not even really sure what some of those mean.
Haha, don't worry, you're not alone.
Okay, good.
So core GCP products are basically the foundation of cloud computing, like the nuts and bolts.
Okay, the basics?
Yeah, the basics, but then it's the AI infrastructure where it gets really interesting. This is where Google provides other businesses with the tools and platforms to build and use their own AI applications.
Oh, wow. So it's like they're giving everyone access to Google's AI engine.
Exactly. They're empowering other businesses with AI, which is huge.
That's a pretty powerful idea.
It is.
Okay, so then what about these generative AI solutions? That just sounds so futuristic to me.
Yeah, it really is cutting edge.
Okay.
So generative AI is all about creating new content.
Like what kind of content?
I'm talking text, images, even music.
Wow.
All using AI algorithms, and Google's offering these tools as part of its cloud platform.
Okay.
So now businesses can do things like, let's say, automate their marketing, generate product descriptions that sound like a human wrote them.
No way.
Even create custom music for their videos. It's pretty wild.
Wow, so it's not just about renting server space anymore.
No?
Google Cloud is like a one-stop shop for businesses
It is.
to tap into all the power of AI.
Exactly, you got it.
It seems like AI is really the common thread
It is.
running through all of Alphabet's successes.
That's a really sharp observation, and it's no coincidence.
Interesting.
You know, Alphabet's CEO, Sundar Pichai, he explicitly stated that they're doubling down on AI investments.
Yeah, he mentioned that massive $75 billion planned for capital expenditures in 2025.
That's right.
And I'm assuming a lot of that's going towards AI.
Oh, absolutely. It's a serious commitment.
And it really signals how important they believe AI will be.
It's a clear statement. They see AI as the foundation for their future growth, you know?
Yeah.
It's not just a passing trend. It's their core strategy.
And they're putting their money where their mouth is.
Exactly. They're all in.
But, I think our listeners probably wondering what this all means for them,
Yeah, that's the big question, right?
Right, like why should they care about Alphabet's big AI push?
Well, that's something we're going to explore as we kind of dive deeper into these earnings.
Right.
You know, if a company like Alphabet is betting this big on AI, it's a pretty good sign that it's going to impact all of our lives in ways we might not even imagine yet.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Let's hold that thought for a second.
Okay.
And talk about YouTube. I mean, they're still dominating the video world, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
You know, the report highlights how YouTube continues to dominate in terms of streaming watch time. But what's really interesting to me is they're not just a video platform anymore.
Oh, what do you mean?
They're branching out, particularly into the world of podcasts.
Wait, YouTube is getting into podcasts?
They are.
I mean, that's news to me, and I'm sure our listeners are interested in that as well.
Right. Especially since you, dear listener, are engaged in a podcast right now.
Very true. Very true. That's a good point.
It's a pretty big deal, actually, especially in the media landscape.
It seems like they have a knack for, spotting
They do.
emerging trends and then just jumping right in.
Yeah, they're always on the cutting edge.
To capitalize on them. But how big is this YouTube podcast play, really?
Well, consider this. YouTube and Cloud together brought in a massive $110 billion in annual revenue for Alphabet in 2024.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
$110 billion. That's even more than their total revenue for Q4?
It is. It's incredible.
That's mind-blowing. So we've got this company that is raking in more revenue than some countries.
It's true.
Pushing hard into AI.
Yeah.
And now shaking up the podcasting world.
They are. They really are.
I think it's safe to say that this deep dive is just getting started.
Oh, we've only scratched the surface.
Alrighty.
We've got a lot more to unpack.
All right, stay tuned.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive into Alphabet's Q4 2024 earnings.
Yep, part 2. We left off, I think, talking about how Alphabet is placing this huge bet on AI.
Yeah, they're going all in.
In part 1, we covered, how they're pouring resources into it.
Oh, yeah.
And just weaving AI into nearly everything they do.
Pretty much.
So I'm still trying to wrap my head around, what this all means for the average person,
Yeah.
How will AI actually affect our lives beyond, making our Google searches a little bit faster?
Right.
Or more convenient?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, experts across so many fields are trying to figure that out right now.
Okay.
But, we can get some clues by looking at where Alphabet is focusing their efforts, right?
Okay, so based on what we're seeing in this earnings report, where are some of the areas where AI could have the biggest impact?
Well, one area that really jumps out at me is healthcare.
Okay.
Now, their other bets segment, which includes those healthcare initiatives,
right,
still relatively small, compared to their giants like Google Services and Cloud.
Right.
But it's growing.
I remember reading something about Google developing AI-powered tools.
Oh, yeah.
For medical diagnoses.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking?
Exactly. They're using AI to potentially, revolutionize healthcare. I mean, imagine a world where AI can analyze medical images, even better than human doctors, right?
Wow.
Or speed up the development of new, life-saving drugs.
It's incredible to even think about, but to be honest, it also makes me a little nervous.
I get it. It's a big change.
Yeah.
And there are definitely some big ethical questions that we need to consider, right?
Yeah.
As AI becomes, more integrated into something as important as healthcare,
right,
we got to make sure these tools are developed and used responsibly with, patient privacy and data security as top priorities.
So it's not just about the technology itself.
No, it's not.
But how we use it.
Right.
And what safeguards we put in place.
Exactly. It's a shared responsibility between tech companies, policymakers, and, everyday people like us to make sure AI is used ethically and truly benefits humanity.
That's a good point.
We got to get it right.
Okay, so healthcare is one big area. What else is on Alphabet's AI radar?
Well, AI is already having a major impact on something we're both pretty familiar with, media.
Oh, okay.
Our habits around consuming news, entertainment, even how we listen to podcasts, they're all changing rapidly.
Right.
Thanks to platforms like YouTube.
Oh, that's true. You mentioned earlier how YouTube is expanding into the podcast world.
Yeah, yeah.
So what kind of impact could AI have on how we experience audio content?
I think the possibilities are honestly pretty exciting. I mean, we're already seeing AI being used to personalize podcast recommendations, right?
Oh, like how?
Helping listeners discover new shows they'll love.
Oh, okay.
But imagine AI tools that could automatically, transcribe and translate podcasts into different languages,
Wow.
making them accessible to a global audience.
That would be incredible. It would break down so many barriers.
Right. Language barriers wouldn't be a thing anymore.
And it would help people all over the world connect.
Exactly.
Through podcasts.
Imagine, AI-powered tools that could create interactive podcasts.
Whoa. What does that even mean?
Where the story changes based on your choices.
Wow.
Or AI-generated soundscapes that could transport you to another world,
That's crazy. That sounds amazing.
It really pushes the boundaries of what's possible with audio.
Okay, now I'm even more excited about the future of podcasts.
Me too.
But, on a more serious note, we can't ignore the potential impact of AI.
Yeah.
On the job market, I think a lot of people are, understandably worried about AI taking over jobs.
It's a valid concern, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, AI is definitely going to automate some tasks and roles.
Right.
Particularly those involving, repetitive processes or heavy data analysis.
But hasn't that kind of always been the case?
You're right. You're right. Looking back at history, technological advances have always disrupted the job market in some way.
Right.
The key is to adapt
Okay.
and develop skills that complement AI rather than trying to compete with it.
So instead of fearing AI, we should be thinking about how to work with it.
Exactly.
And use it to our advantage.
That's the spirit. AI can be a powerful tool for good. It's up to us to guide its development.
Right.
And make sure it's used in a way that benefits everyone.
You're right. We can't just sit back and let AI shape our future.
No, we can't.
We need to be proactive
Right.
about shaping AI
Absolutely.
to create the kind of future we want to see.
It's not just a technological revolution. It's a societal one. The decisions we make today about AI, they're going to have a huge impact for generations to come.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So we got to think carefully.
We've talked about how AI could, revolutionize healthcare and media, but we need to think about all aspects of our lives, right?
Yeah.
So what other areas of our lives could be impacted by AI?
Well, one area that's especially relevant,
Okay.
To Alphabet's core business is the evolving relationship between AI and creativity.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
We talked about AI as a tool for efficiency and automation. But you're saying it could actually be a force for creativity.
Absolutely. We're already seeing AI being used to compose music, write poetry, even create stunning visual art.
Wow.
And as these AI tools become more advanced and more accessible, they have the potential to really democratize creativity, Anyone with an internet connection could express themselves artistically in ways we never thought possible before.
So you're saying that AI won't replace artists?
I don't think so.
But it could actually empower them?
Yeah.
With new tools and possibilities.
Exactly. It's about expanding the horizons of human creativity, not replacing it.
Okay, that's a cool concept. It's a much more optimistic view of AI than what we often hear in the news,
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the fear.
Right.
But technology itself isn't inherently good or bad.
Right.
It's all about how we choose to use it.
Okay.
And what values we embed in it.
So instead of fearing AI, we should be exploring its potential to unlock, new levels of human creativity and expression.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Awesome.
But, let's be realistic. There are potential downsides too, right?
Of course, yeah.
One of the biggest concerns with AI is the possibility of, unintended consequences.
Okay, can you give an example?
Sure. Let's take, for example, AI-powered recommendation systems, like the ones used by YouTube and other platforms, right?
Okay.
These systems are designed to show you content you're likely to enjoy, based on your past behavior.
Okay. Right.
But what if these systems end up creating, filter bubbles?
Oh, yeah.
Limiting your exposure to different viewpoints and reinforcing existing biases.
Like being trapped in an echo chamber.
Exactly. You only hear opinions that agree with your own.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
It's a real risk. We need to make sure these AI systems are designed in a way that promotes, diversity of thought.
Right.
And encourages, like, open-mindedness, not narrow-mindedness.
Right. It seems like such a delicate balance to strike.
It is.
Like harnessing the power of AI
Yeah.
without sacrificing our values or like falling into these technological traps.
You're absolutely right. It's a balancing act.
Yeah.
And that's why, it's so important to have these conversations, to think critically about the implications of AI, and to be proactive in shaping its development.
That's a good point.
We have a responsibility to get this right.
It's a lot to consider, but it's also really exciting.
It is.
It feels like we're on the cusp of like this whole new era driven by AI.
It does.
And it's up to all of us to make sure it's an era that, benefits humanity as a whole.
That's the goal, right?
Right.
To use this technology for good.
So after this deep dive into Alphabet's earnings,
Mm-hmm.
what's the one key message you want our listeners to take away?
I would say embrace curiosity. Don't shy away from the big questions that AI raises.
Yeah.
Stay informed, participate in these important conversations, and just be an active part of shaping the future of this powerful technology.
I love that. Well said. And on that note,
Yeah.
we'll leave you with one final thought to ponder.
Okay, hit me.
As AI becomes more and more integrated into our lives,
Yeah.
what does it truly mean to be human?
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's a big question.
It is. It's a question that will continue to challenge and inspire us, as we navigate this uncharted territory. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It's been a fascinating journey.
All right, welcome back to the final part of our deep dive, into Alphabet's Q4 2024 earnings.
Yeah.
So we've covered their incredible growth, the power of AI, and like all the ways it could impact our lives.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. But now we're tackling, I think, the biggest question of all.
Yeah.
Like, what happens when those lines between human and artificial intelligence start to blur?
Right.
It's even kind of fuzzy.
It is.
In the last part, you left us with that thought about AI and human connection, and I got to say, it's been on my mind ever since.
Has it?
It really has. It's such a fascinating idea, but honestly, it's also a little unsettling, too.
I understand. I mean, for so long, we viewed ourselves as like the only species capable of deep thought, creativity, emotions.
Right.
But as we build machines that can do those things, maybe even better than us, it really does make you question, what does it mean to be human?
That's a big question.
It is a big
So
question.
where do we even begin to unpack all of this?
Well, one way is to look at how AI is already changing the way we connect with each other.
Okay.
Like, think about social media platforms that use AI to, curate our news feeds and suggest friends or connections.
You mean how those algorithms, like, they just seem to know
Right.
what we want to see
Exactly.
before we even do?
They're getting pretty good at it.
They really are.
On the one hand, it can create those echo chambers we talked about, where you're only exposed to information that reinforces your existing beliefs. But on the other hand, it can also connect us with like-minded people and communities we might never have found otherwise.
Right, so there's good and bad.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword,
Yeah, it's almost like AI is playing matchmaker for friendships, professional networks, even political groups.
That's a good way to put it. And as AI gets even smarter, it's not hard to imagine virtual companions or even like romantic partners powered by AI.
Whoa, wait, are you talking about like AI boyfriends and girlfriends?
Yeah.
That sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
I know, right? It might seem far-fetched now, but it's a possibility we should consider.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. We already form emotional attachments to fictional characters in books, movies, games.
Right.
What happens when those characters can interact with us in real time, learn about us, and, respond to our emotions?
I could see how that would appeal to some people, especially those who maybe struggle with loneliness or have difficulty connecting with others.
Right.
But it also makes me wonder about like, the nature of those relationships.
It is a really interesting question, right? Like, what does it mean to have a genuine connection with another being, whether it's human or artificial?
Right. Like, where do we even draw the line?
Exactly. And what are the implications for our emotional well-being and our sense of self?
Yeah, that's deep.
It is deep. These are complex questions without easy answers.
Right.
But they're questions we need to be thinking about.
Okay.
As AI technology continues to evolve.
It really feels like this conversation about AI, it goes way beyond just, the technology itself.
It does.
It's a conversation about what it means to be human in a world where the lines between, human and machine are just becoming increasingly blurred.
You hit the nail on the head, and that's why it's so important to approach AI development thoughtfully.
Right.
And ethically, we need to ask ourselves, what kind of future do we want to create?
Yeah.
How can we use AI to enhance our lives, our humanity, and not diminish them?
It's a lot of responsibility.
It is.
So after this deep dive into Alphabet's earnings,
Mm-hmm.
what's the one key takeaway, the one key message that you want our listeners to walk away with?
I would say embrace curiosity. Don't shy away from these big questions that AI raises.
Right.
Stay informed, participate in the conversations, and just be an active part of shaping the future of this incredibly powerful technology.
I love that. Well said. And on that note, we'll leave you with one final thought to ponder.
Okay, what is it?
As AI becomes more and more integrated into our lives, what does it truly mean to be human?
Wow, it's a good one to leave them with.
It is a big question.
It is.
It's one that we'll all have to grapple with.
It's a question that will continue to challenge and inspire us as we navigate, this uncharted territory.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. It's been a fascinating journey.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
TJA.